100 feet below the Atlantic Ocean, off the coast of North Carolina, lies the wreck of U-85, a German U-boat sunk by a U.S. Navy ship in 1942 during World War II. And on a recent July morning, these marine archaeologists strapped on their scuba gear, preparing to dive into the choppy waters to survey the ship, one of several U-boats discovered in the area known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic.
Dive, dive, dive! Dive, dive, dive! There's 4 U-boats around North Carolina. We found 3. There's one probably somewhere in deeper water that hasn't been found, and there's a 5th towards the Virginia-North Carolina border that hasn't been found as well. What we're doing here is called a non-invasive survey. So we're just taking a look at the exterior of what we have on the bottoms. In this case, it's the U-85.
It's all part of a multi-year effort by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and its partners to document the condition of the shipwrecks and shed light on their historical importance.
If you talk about a cultural landscape and you think about Gettysburg and the Civil War, there's a place you can walk the fields of Gettysburg, or you can walk the fields of Chancellorsville, or you think about World War II in the Pacific, you can go to Pearl Harbor. You talk about the Battle of the Atlantic, it's this 10,000-mile theater of war, and there's no place that you can really go to that sort of exemplifies that spot. To me, the closest place that you can do that is in North Carolina.
While the subs rest in U.S. waters, they're still property of the German government under the Sunken Military Craft Act. They're also considered war graves.
Whether there are physical remains still inside the sub or not, I think is less important than what happened there at that place.
And what happened is one of World War II's best-kept secrets. The German U-boats were patrolling just miles off the coast, torpedoing Allied convoys heading to Europe.
This is the closest that enemy action came to American shores with consistency throughout the war. You could literally see ships that were burning. People sitting along the coastline in the 1940s would see this stuff happening.
Back on the boat, Hoyt and his fellow divers sketch what they saw at the bottom of the ocean. U-85's pressure hull remains intact, as does its 18mm deck gun and torpedo tubes.
Working on shipwrecks, and actually, especially submarines, they're actually time capsules. So by the time they sunk, that's sort of a little piece in time that went down to the bottom.
Which is what makes finally mapping and protecting these wrecks so important.
It's like bringing to the surface this lost piece of American history that almost touched us in a way that nobody knows about. I mean, we're 15 miles from shore, and the Germans were here. To tell the whole story of World War II, you have to know about our successes and some of our failures and our enemies' failures and successes. And that's what we're doing to tell the entire story of the Battle of the Atlantic.
The team plans to issue a full report on their findings by the end of the year. And next summer, they'll be diving some of the very same Allied ships these U-boats may have torpedoed. For Discovery News, I'm Jorge Ribas.